did a little reassembly here. Basically just put one bolt in there to hold that. Okay, I wanted to do that because I'm starting to figure out where I want the screws for this, okay? And the clearances are kind of tight down in here, so that shows me that I really should be up about here. But if I use a really shallow head, you know, like a pan screw, drill and tap it, run it in, maybe put a little Loctite on it and have the thread sticking out here, then I can have room for a wing nut. Apparently, I didn't hit record the last time. So I'm going to put it in place there, give it a drop of cutting oil. I'm hand tapping a M4 by 0.7. You can see the one down here, I already got that one done and the bolt fits in there. Oh, yeah, let's get a little downward pressure established to get started. And I'm pushing down pretty good to help get it started. The spring in the tap aligner there, whatever, is not putting down much pressure at all, but it does keep it to where I can get fairly aggressive with my pushing down to get it to bite. And it still makes sure that it stays aligned vertically. And it's a really cheap 4mm Harbor Freight tap. So I'll pretty much consider myself, oh, yes, I got the 2 holes. I was going to say I'd consider myself lucky to even get the 2 holes out of it. Nice. Okay. And it survives to tap another hole. First time, I'm sure it's the first time I've ever used it. M4 is fairly small for a lot of what I do. All right, nice. Well, we'll see how all this works. I know that I want to go in a ½ inch from where I'm at. Basically, I'm going to stop the center of the slot 3/8 of an inch in. This is a 3/16 end mill. Hopefully everything's rigid enough. I don't have too much problem with it bouncing around, but doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to slot in here, and then I'll move over 9½ inches to the left and do another one. I thought I'd cheat a little bit. I still have it in here, so let's deburr it with this. It's just a countersink. I can use it like a bevel tool, so let's see how it does. I thought it was recording. Anyway, this one tightened down just fine. This one here is stripped. I was just snugging it down and never felt like it got tight, and so I'm not too surprised considering the cheap tap and how thin it is and everything. So I'll do a TIG tack or something like that on there. But what I want to see is if I got it lined up right. Oh, look at that. So using the 3/16 instead of smaller, it's close enough that, you know, there's not a great deal of slop in there, but it's loose enough that I can pivot it. So my thoughts are that, you know, I should be able to just loosen up the nuts and take it off and slide it out from underneath, or I can move it up, blow it out. I should have some options. So let's see about making some the nuts for it. Basically, I have this is left over from something, tear down from something, some big piece of equipment that I had to scrap at one point. So what I'll do is I'll chop them off, and you know, like about a ½ inch or so, something like that. I decided to do that instead of wing nuts. One, I didn't have any wing nuts that small. Two, I didn't want to use a bolt so big as, you know, for what I had a wing nut for, basically 1/4 20. And I also didn't want a wing nut because, you know, you're moving your hands around tools, sanding straps, all that kind of stuff. I wanted something that would be not as obtrusive. I didn't want little tabs sticking out in directions that could catch chips and stuff like that. So this is probably more than I should have out there anyway. But I can always change it up a little bit. You know, I can shorten the bolt slightly and shorten the nut, and then have it fairly you know, fairly close. So we'll go with that for now and see how it goes. We have the ability to build stuff here, so, you know, if we don't like it or it's wrong, we can always change it. Wow, that's how deep that hole goes in. So if I don't make them at least that long, it's going to be open at the end. That's almost long enough to do 2 nuts. So easy enough to shorten these things down later. So I'll probably make them just long enough, you know, like 1/8 of an inch longer than that, so that the end is closed. But if when I get it mounted on the machine and everything, and I see too much chips catching it, stuff like that, I'll shorten everything up. Well, from this side, you can see the nuts. I should be able to, you know, or pivot it. Can't really pivot it this way, but I can lift it up that way to blow it out. So there's not even a 1/16 of an inch clearance there. And I'm not quite sure. Might not be perfectly level, but it doesn't rub at either end. You know, at this end I'm stopped by the DRO, the slide, and at that end I'm stopped by that nut, obviously. Now I have a little too much here, because by the time I put the washers and the nuts on that stuff, that'll be in the way. I could raise it up high enough to clear the nuts and everything, but then I'd have grief taking the nuts on and off without taking this off. So what I'm going to do is I'll put it back in the mill, and I'll chew, you know, like a 1/4 inch off the end there, and that ought to do the trick. I'm thinking that's close enough. I basically took down 100 thou. I realized, because I put it in the vise on the mill, and by clamping it together, it was up into the bend, and it actually straightened the bend out. So this is now less than a 90. So it was sloping this way quite a bit, and now it's actually sloping this way a little bit. So what that did was, by doing that, it added some clearance here, so I didn't figure I needed to take off quite as much. So I'm just going to leave it like that. It's easy enough to fix that later, change it later if I want. Oops. Anybody else see a problem there? Okay, so I'm going to have to lower that about a 1/4 inch. I played around with I don't have a chuck key, so I've been using this. So I opened it up, and that's about as far as I would want to go. I opened it up until the jaws started falling out of the scroll, and then turned it back in a few turns to, you know, get it. So that's about as big as I would want to go with this. Now, So I got to put the ball screw back on and drop this down. Basically what I need to do is just put it back in the mill and just increase these slots until it drops down. Now, you know, it looks like I've got close to a ½ an inch there. Now when I drop this down far enough, I'll have to cut it back a bit more, at least another 1/8 of an inch there or whatever, so it'll sit down beside that. But you know, upon looking at it now, I think I will lower that down as far as I can get it, basically, and get as much clearance as I can. All right, one nice use with the digital calipers is I can close it all the way down, zero it. I can take a reading here of that distance. Now that's 5.595, so about 5.6. But I want to know from the underside here. So if I zero that, I can then take it down to the thickness, down to the sheet metal there, and I get 0.4835. So 0.48. That gives me the distance underneath there. So I will cut those slots another 0.48 deep. Alright, I got those cut back slots. So now I'm hitting on here. So. Okay, now I know that these, you know, there's an angle to the one on the bottom there, so I don't want to just push it down, because see how that pulls it back like that? So I want to lift it up high enough, make sure that I'm pushing flush against the bottom, the second bottom piece there, and then what I did was I just took my X-Acto blade and I just scribed a light little line right there. Maybe not, you know, if it was a finished piece, perfection, that kind of stuff, I'd worry about it. Then I just took the calipers and just kind of eyeballed it, and 150 thou looks like it'll just give me some clearance there. So I'm going to shave 150 thou off the end here and see how that goes, see how that fits. Not just done, shaved 150 thou off. Ooh, is that sweet or what? That's so nice. I like that. Take a look there. I got the aluminum piece cut and mounted. Just loosen these up a little bit. And it's just on there with the double-sided tape. That'll be more than strong enough. It's not like there's going to be any load whatsoever on there. And wow, that just really seals up everything really nice. The only part it doesn't seal is, you know, as this goes back, it's I think it's just stuck on the ball screw here. Oh. The whole time I was sitting there saying, oh, I need to attach it to this so it moves back and forth. And what did I do? I thought, oh, I'll be slick and I'll mount it to this. Yeah, well, as soon as you do that, it locks it in. So I will be taking it off of there and mounting it over to this. So I got to redo that because I'm just not that bright. Wow. Okay, that's why everything takes so long. Got to do it twice. Well, I got the part back off. This is going to go on here. This is going to be up under here, but have to tape to the side of the other one. It's going to have to go over there, but I got to be able to get the height set. The length of that goes to the end. So if I line the end up here, that should be pretty darn close. And then I think what I'm going to do goes on like that, like that. We'll see if this works. I'm going to want it lined up on that edge and flush with it, because that's basically how I put it in on the last one, and that worked out just fine. pretty much where I want it. It's recessed a little bit here. I'll probably have to reach in there and push it under a bit, but it sits there like that. That goes up against there. Okay. Now let's do one other thing here. Let's I had this peeled up here for a reason. And when you put this on like a car or something like that, basically you do the same thing. Okay, you get everything close and lined up, and then you can peel that out. The difference being is that I have it pushed this way a bit so that it doesn't stick right away or whatever. So let's see if I can get that pushed over a little bit. And I don't need it to push the whole way or anything. I just need enough to hold it. Guess I put a little too much blue tape on there. Ah, come on. Okay, I need something long and thin that'll fit in there and give me at least a little. I always talk when I walk away from the camera. Alright, I need something long and thin to go in there and get that in to touch down a bit. That looks like it did it. Okay. And, you know, I'm just going to end up with some debris and crap like that. I might be able to trim that off, but when this comes out, I can trim the rest of it up too. But basically, I need to just come along here. And this does have a setup time. So, like tomorrow, it'll be rock hard. And won't want to peel off. Won't be rock hard, but it won't want to peel off at all. Alright, one thing we definitely don't want to forget here, while we're at it, is the oiling holes. So it'll be a bit more of a challenge to get in here and get to them, but I definitely want to make sure that I have them. So I'm going to brace on the, I'm going to hold it over the center there, brace on the aluminum, set it straight down, and that should certainly get me close enough. Just kind of run it back and forth and make sure it looks like it's good. Okay, so I'll drill those holes, and I should be able to sneak the oil gun in there or something and still drip oil down in there. So let's see how this goes. It's a stainless steel bolt and a piece of steel. I'm going to use the finger switch. It's set up kind of high for tacking, so I don't know if I'll have time to add filler or not. I just want them tacked, mainly this one over here. But as long as I'm doing it, I mainly only need like one tack, so we'll see. Oh yeah, that's certainly good. You know, not pretty, but I just need it to keep it from turning. But you can see how much softer the stainless steel is. It melts quick. Well, there's the two oil holes drilled. Okay, So I should be able to sneak in there and get some oil in there when I need to. I'm not positive it's the last time it's going together, but okay, that's the X all the way extended there. And that's all the ball screw that's exposed. Okay, when it goes all the way back the other way, it covers up even more. So there's the cover. And you can see the nice close fit there. If the two rub, so be it. I'm really not too worried about it. Little bit of challenge squirting oil down inside there, but for that one, the other one can be seen fairly easy. So I kind of like that. That's nice and easy, and it's no back and forth play here at all. Originally I tightened this down tight and started getting all kinds of binding and couldn't figure it out at first, and then I realized that when this got tightened down, it pulled it too tight on the thrust bearings. The one over here didn't do that so bad. You know, it's so anyway. Well, you can see if it's parked in that position, there's no ball screw exposed there. So I kind of like that. I think that's as good as I'm going to get, certainly for now. So I think I'll call that good and move on to the next challenge, obstacle, pain in the ass, project. I thought I'd give a look there at the final height of the ball screw cover and the clearance. So I didn't move these in. They're still out at just as far, if not more. So I still have some room to go out a little bit more if I had to. That's about as far as I'd want to take it out anyway. There's one tooth maybe holding those jaws in right now. So that did gain me some more clearance. Worth all the time. Just problem is it took all the time.